Okay, we are starting our playtest video for the game Misspell. This is going to be around a half hour, maybe a little more than that when it comes to the duration. We are just going to playtest the game a little bit, trying to find bugs, maybe try to find something that could do with some improvement. Let's go right in. This is my first time playing the game, by the way. I have just installed it, and I think it's going to be a much better perspective for a game testing process, because I have no idea what this game is about. I've seen the trailer, I've seen a few of the pictures on the Steam page, but I haven't played the game myself. So let's go. Okay, so I'm not sure if there was supposed to be an intro movie at the beginning, because I did see like a small picture like right before. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be like a loading screen or an intro movie, so that was not very clear. Damn, I nearly broke my neck. Just bushes, roots, and mud everywhere. That village elder didn't say a word about all this mess when he talked about the way to the ruins near the sawmill. East, forest, lower river valley. And he even pulled out a map. Smart guy. How am I supposed to navigate this thicket? Good thing there's a trail at least. The graphics are pretty nice. Oh, and there's a secret room over here. Story fragment collected. Check the collection in the menu. So, okay, this is like point number one about this one specifically, is that, oh, I'm stuck. This probably like removes you back. I actually think this is actually a good feature if you do become stuck. We're gonna test it out later. I might try to get stuck like later in the playtest itself, but I mean, I actually think that there's nothing wrong with this thing specifically. It's just that there was not really an introduction to like a secret room. So if you're like a new player, and some players are like, you know, just like, you know, not very, like they could be like slow on the learning process, or they could be just like, you know, new gamers and stuff. I'm not really sure how good it is to have a secret room right at the beginning when this wasn't introduced. I mean, maybe it's going to be introduced later on, but I feel like if you are going to have like a sort of like a mechanic that is like secret rooms and stuff, then maybe you should have a section like at the beginning or like at some point where it's kind of like part of a tutorial. Like maybe she's going to say something like, oh, this wall looks very fragile. I think there's actually something behind it. And then like you can actually go in and see that like there's secret rooms, and then you can also have them collect the first story fragment right at the beginning. And this is gonna let them know that there's like secret rooms scattered all over the world. But putting this like a nut behind the tutorial at first, in my opinion, it's pretty much like expecting players to understand that this is gonna happen. Now, we might have one later down the road, and maybe this was like intended to like maybe go back and do it later, or like restart the game and then try to find secrets as well, or like restart chapters if there's an option. But if there's like a mechanic that wasn't introduced beforehand, I feel like it should be. This is just a personal opinion of mine. Ancient wisdom. Explore the world around you. It hides many secrets. Okay, so we do have them. Nice. Well, forget everything I just said. They did add this. Hello, little guy. Do I kill you? I do? Was it harmful? By the way, I completely guessed like how to fight. Again, like there's no like introduction to how to fight in this case. Okay, are you harmful? Yes, you are. Okay. And you're dead. Okay, I feel like it would have been good to have an introduction for these enemies at least, or like for how to fight. Like press the left mouse button, or if there's like a gamepad support, then like press the button on the gamepad. And by the way, like how to explore the secrets. I'm guessing that like this is the only way, like it's only hidden walls. For a downward attack while jumping, press S plus the mouse button. Okay, I'm just gonna circle back to see if maybe there's something I missed, because I don't want to misjudge the game entirely. Because maybe there is like, you know, some sort of tutorial stone that I did miss on the way. Yeah, I'm not really finding one. So, from my personal perspective, you introduced a mechanic just now, right? Like the downward attack. So, it's fine, but you haven't introduced everything about a normal attack. And there's also like a bow and arrow, which might be introduced later on, but the main attack, which is probably what people are going to use the most, there was no introduction to this whatsoever at the beginning. And now you're introducing like a downward attack, so it's like you're introducing a more advanced mechanic before you introduce the base mechanic, and there were enemies on the way as well. I feel like, for my personal opinion, you should add a stone before the first fight to let players know how to attack. Because again, not everyone are experienced gamers. Some people are going to pick up this game as their very first game, so think about that. That guy is harmful. He is kind of cute though, but harmful. This gate doesn't open. Let's try to attack it and like maybe try to make like a bug. Okay, I did not glitch into the wall, that's good. You can't climb on these ones. And I do like the color contrast to indicate this. It's really not bad. Yeah, you can also attack upwards, you can shoot arrows, so I do want to see if there's going to be like any introduction to these like later on. Okay, so we have a climbing mechanic, and again, there's no introduction to the climbing mechanic at all. Now, if you want to have this game, like, you know, be kind of like a Hollow Knight style game, or like a Souls type game, where there's like no help whatsoever, that's fine. But if you are going to do this, I feel like you should actually, like, you know, you should probably like only add the key features, like the movement and maybe like, you know, the basic attack function. But if you didn't intend for this to like be this kind of like, you know, Souls-like slash Hollow Knight, like learn the mechanic on your own type of thing, then maybe it's a good idea to actually make some more explicit, like some more detailed tutorials all the way throughout the game. Okay, and there's a plant. I'm gonna try to arrow this guy, let's see what happens. Okay, so the arrows bounce off. Oh, and you do have unlimited ammo. So when you press it rapidly, it just explodes in your hand. Press to use the rope. Yeah, I'm guessing that maybe like it wasn't like the intended Souls-like tutorial level. So you can swing. Is there a limit? Let's see. Okay, so far the swinging mechanic looks pretty good. Let's stop for a second to see. Very nice physics. I do like them. Now let's jump to the left. Okay, wait. Okay, so this is a wall. And you can grab it at different points to swing to swing at different angles. So like if I grab this here, I am really close to it. But then if I grab it over here, I am like really down there. I am not finding any bugs whatsoever. Yep. Collision-wise, it looks pretty good. That guy's dead. Can you die from height in this game? Nope, you cannot. Oh, and you can also swing and walk as you swing. That's pretty cool. Now, I do want to test something out with an enemy. Okay, I'm guessing that this is probably a loading screen. Yeah, I want to see if this is gonna work. Yeah, it works kind of. I mean, I still got hit. I'm gonna need to test it again, because I want to make sure that, like, this isn't some sort of exploit where if an enemy walks up to you, you can just spam this button and they can't do anything to you. So, we're gonna check this out just, like, a little bit. Okay, again, like, there's not really, like, a tutorial here, which, again, you just have to think about the direction you want to go, you want to, like, the game to have. So, if you want a game to, like, you know, if you want the game to not hold the player's hand, that's fine. But if you do want it to, like, be detailed about what you can do and how you can do it, you should add a stone pretty much everywhere when a new mechanic is introduced. Okay, now let's see. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't say that this is a very good exploit. So, yeah, we're gonna cross this off. I don't think that, like, this is a reliable exploit if it was. Because I'm guessing that, like, you know, the damage also gets higher the longer you charge. So we're gonna cross that off. Because you can get hit. And enemies, like, they don't take a lot of damage from this. So if we aim all the way, yeah, it's really strong. So that's fine. Okay, now let's see, of course. We're gonna check these out later when we're done. I'm not sure how long the demo is. This video might be a bit longer than 30 minutes, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if maybe this enemy is actually taking a lot less damage from these attacks. Because these guys, they die in one. At least I think they did. I mean, I'm not sure. The other guy died in one hit, and this guy... We'll test it out later. To drop through platforms, plus S plus space. Let's see. Okay, now I do want to test something out, so... Yeah, the last guy died in one hit, and then this guy took 2 hits. So I'm not quite sure about that. Let's see how long it's gonna follow me. Okay, so there is a mechanic that makes it leave if it gets stuck, which is nice. Is it supposed to get stuck on the wall like that after that? I'm not sure. Yeah, so if your original plan was to have it return to its position, it might be a little not very fast. And then it loses sight of me. Okay, let's try that again, see if this was the intention. So, where's it going? Hello? Come here. Come here. Yeah, so... Yeah, it leaves if it gets stuck. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but it seems like the return course for these creatures, at least like in very narrow spaces, doesn't look the fastest. I'm guessing that maybe the pathfinding was to have it return to its original position in like a straight line, and the original position, because it's a bit higher, then it gets stuck on all these obstacles. And then they just become... They just die really easily. Yeah, I feel like this could actually use some improvements. Okay, I'm guessing that there's like a secret over here. And wait, you can't jump and climb at the same time, or is it just me? Okay, now this is a bit weird, so... Something about the climbing is like a little bit strange. At least it feels strange to me. So when you jump, I mean, I'm not sure if this was the intention or not, but when you jump, and then if you want to like, you know, jump and climb like really quickly. So right now, you can't really see this, but I am pressing space and then I'm just spamming the up button, right? Just to like see how fast you can actually climb. So it seems like in this case when you're climbing, so you can only start climbing again after the jumping animation finishes like the highest point. Like until you reach the highest point after jumping, you can't climb any surface like until it finishes. I'm not sure if this is your intention, and I'm not sure if this is a bug, and I'm not sure if this was intended, but if it's not the intention, and you want people to just basically like spam jump climb all the time to get to higher places, then maybe you should get it checked, because as you can see, like if I'm gonna jump from a really low from like a really low place for a very short time and then try to climb again, I can't. So if this was not your intention, you should check it out. Yeah, so there's another one over here. Okay, let's go down. Yeah, it's the same story. It's the same story as before from like the jumping. Goodbye, fool. Oh, now this is where it gets interesting, because now there's a lot of different places to go. Now this is really what's making it feel like the game genre that it's supposed to be. Now, I'm not sure how you restore health in this game just yet, but I guess we'll find out as we continue. Okay, so I want to see if these guys... Yeah, they don't have anything. They basically just walk. Okay, so let's go down. So this is probably going to be a different area. Okay, so far so good. I'm guessing, is this collapsing? What's the deal with this? Okay, it's just standing still. So far, it doesn't look like anything is going to be very wrong. Now, can this thing climb stairs? I want to see what happens if it runs like all the way here. Okay, so they do have a border. That's good. And then when you try to come back, they will just jump back at you. Okay, good. No bugs on that. Very good. Okay, now I'm not really sure what this section is. Or maybe if there's like, you know, a different mechanic that I'm missing here. I'm guessing that this is a location where you might get a different power later on that's going to allow you to access it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, if you don't want to show it to people and if you want them to learn on their own, that's fine. The attack can deflect projectiles. That's good to know. Now, I'm not sure what happens if you die. And we did go pretty far into the story, so let's die just to see what happens. Okay, so you basically go back to the beginning of the stage, which is nice. Now, I'm not sure if there's actually an upgrade system in the game, because so far we're killing enemies, but we're not really getting anything out of it. Like, we're not getting, like, essence or even health or anything. So enemies are pretty much, like, just there. I mean, maybe we'll unlock this later on, so let's just keep playing. Okay, now let's see. Okay. Now, how long will this guy follow me? Okay, so they have a set distance in which they start attacking the player. Yeah, it always goes upwards. Let's try to slash it in a different direction. Okay, yeah, so it goes in the direction that you're slashing in. It's actually pretty cool. I think it's actually really cool. It's kind of hard to hit the enemies, though. But overall, like, if you have a combat with multiple enemies, possibly even a boss fight, this could be a pretty creative idea. Yeah, so this enemy is kind of like the equivalent of the turtle from Super Mario after you hit him twice. I'm wondering how you restore health in the game, or maybe it wasn't supposed to be like that. The scarlet vine's blooms nourish its stems and thorns. So I have to take down all of them, so this clears, I'm guessing. Hold to shoot. Okay, now let's do another test over here. I kind of want to... Okay, so you can't jump on the same wall. It only jumps like 2 walls. Okay, good. And then there's one more that we're missing, which I'm guessing it's going to be in this stage as well. Yeah, it's this one. And it's blocked. And can you shoot it? No, you can't. It just bounces off. Okay, so I'm guessing that this is like, yeah, an old wood that gets collapsed and then you can actually hit the flower. And that was all 3 of them. So that's that. Is this gonna be a boss fight? No, it's not. Okay. Not a bad introduction. Hello. From behind the thick shrubs comes a low, rumbling mutter, and the air around is filled with a mix of unfamiliar scents. Aubrey quietly sneaks closer and spots a stout Sahit hunched over a camp kettle. Ah, localization bug. See this? So this, I mean, I'm guessing that this is like might have been the native language of the game. Russian, I'm assuming. So if this is the English version, this is a localization bug, because the name isn't translated to English. So this is one thing that you do need to worry about. Where did those cardamom seeds go? Have you seen them? I have no idea what they are even. Aubrey freezes, thinking she's been discovered, but in that moment, a mouse jumps out of the traveler's bag, climbs up his clothes, and neatly places a tiny pouch into his hand. There you are, my smart girl. What would I ever do without you? Curiosity wins over fear. Aubrey steps in almost all the way and peers over his shoulder. The Sahid suddenly freezes, sniffs the air suspiciously, then spins around and raises his ladle like a rapier. Not another step. I am armed. His eyes land on Aubrey, and pure astonishment flashes across his face. It's just me, put the weapon down. Yeah, it's the same thing with Aubrey's name, it's the localization bug right here. Holy pause, and who exactly is this me supposed to be? I've been traveling for years and I've never seen anything like that. Name yourself, stranger. Okay, when he says anything like that, does he mean the tail, the horns, her in general? It's pretty unclear. I didn't mean any harm. Oh sure, and giant cats are just totally normal, huh? Something like that? Do I look like a monster to you? I want to go for option number 2. Waving ladles around. Is that just an everyday thing? Ha, sharp tongue on you, I see. Well, my apologies for the enthusiasm. I get a bit jumpy when someone sneaks up on me. My name is Morgif. I'm a merchant, a traveler, and a cook on the side. Still with a hint of mockery. My name is Aubrey, or at least that's what they call me until I remember who I really am. Oh, so she lost her memory. What are you? Purple skins, horse, some kind of forest fairy. Yep, totally the mighty protector. Yes, the mighty protector. Where did you come from? I've never seen anyone like you on this island. From stone. Oh, wait, what? Okay. Okay, now this is interesting. So, I pressed the mouse button. Okay, so this is something that I think should be addressed. So, I pressed the mouse button just now. You can replay it slowly if you want to see it again. But when I pressed the mouse button to move to the next dialogue option, there was probably a window where you get to choose the dialogue. So I pressed the mouse button, and then immediately as the screen switched, my mouse button was on one of the options, and it pressed it with one click. So this is something that I think you should check, because if there's no cooldown between mouse clicks when you are clicking like options and dialogue windows, so I couldn't choose what dialogue I wanted to pick, because as soon as I pressed the mouse button to skip to the next window, it also registered on the next window without any cooldown, so I accidentally pressed the next option as well. So you should get that checked. I think this is actually a bug. I don't even know what that is. I just hope I'll understand when I see it. Sending off alone into unfamiliar woods to find something when you don't even know what it is. You're a walking example of useless courage and carelessness. Yeah, that's me. He didn't want to let me go. I left on my own. He tried to talk me out of it, of course, but the village made me uneasy. Everyone kept staring at me like I was some curiosity. I'll pass, thank you. Ew, no way. Oh, come on. I think it would have been really fun to make an option where you actually do taste the soup and maybe like you get your health back or you get some sort of debuff. Yeah, but again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually up to you. Because the two options are very different in like the tone, so I'm gonna say no way. Okay, let's try to go for the options to see if there's like any spelling errors. Again, this is the same bug as before. When you press the mouse button, it immediately registers to the next window. So people can just, like, you know, pick the dialogue options even if they didn't want to. Again, it's the same thing. So, like, if you press the mouse button over here, you run the risk of accidentally picking a dialogue option without even seeing what it is. Can I attack him? No, you cannot. I'm guessing we're gonna be returning to him at some point. Okay, now I do have one question, which is how low can you go with this thing? Oh, and you can also control it with the actual arrow keys. So like with the W, A, S, D keys, you can actually decide like how high and how low you want to go. Now, I do want to check something in terms of gameplay. Is that, does swinging actually affect your jump? Okay, it does. So if I swing fast, I can jump a very great distance. But if I swing incredibly slow, let's go upwards a little bit. So if I jump slow, yeah, the distance is not the same, so that's fine. Yeah, this guy's an enemy. Now, I want to try something. Oh, so you can bounce shot off walls. That's pretty cool. Now, in terms of range, yeah, I'm pretty sure this has unlimited range. Okay, let's try to go from up. Okay, that guy's dead. Now, what happens if I do end up on the spikes? Oh, you lose HP and then you respawn at the next point. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And you can extend the jump distance if you swing on two at the same time. Okay, so these both lead to the same way. So I'm guessing this is where it starts getting complicated. Oh, and you can climb and swing at the same time. Okay, what happens if I do this, though? If I run into the wall... Okay, let's try this. Maybe it's gonna be a bug. Okay, we're very close to it, and it doesn't seem like you get stuck on the wall. Nice. No bugs. Very impressive. Ow. Okay, now I do want to try something to see if it's going to cause a bug. I want to try to swing on both of these at the exact same time to see if there are two at the same, like, range. Well, like, which one does it prioritize? Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that. Yeah, I think there's like a set distance that actually, like, you know, prioritizes it. Yeah, I think the closest one is the one that gets prioritized. I'm not sure if, like, there's probably not a problem with that. I'm guessing that this is a secret. Or not. This is, though. Ow. Okay, now let's say I'm in a new stage right now. So when I died, I basically restart the stage, right? That's the thing. So if I die here, yeah, I start from the... Okay, now this is a pretty interesting concept because if you die in this game specifically, I mean, maybe later on there's going to be something, but in general, let's say I entered this stage with like very low health, and then there's an enemy like right in front of me. So the exploit is that I can basically die even if I have like 2.5 hearts, right? So let's say I just entered a stage, I can basically die immediately, and then my health is just going to be fully recovered either way. Now, I'm not sure if this was the intention, but from my perspective, it's kind of like a pretty... It's going to be an exploit for players once they do get experience with the game. So, if you recover from the start of every individual stage, especially like when there's an enemy right at the beginning, it kind of eliminates the like risk of having low HP. Because if you enter a stage with low HP, you can just get killed by an enemy, and then you start the exact same stage with full health. There's like no risk factors here, if that makes sense. So you don't restart like very way back. You don't lose anything because from what I've seen, there's no like actual currency in the game, like how in Souls game you have like runes or different types of like, you know, currency that you can like upgrade skills and whatnot. So there's not really a risk of dying early, and it's kind of like an exploit because when you do enter a stage with very low health, you can just get killed and restore your health to full at the start of the stage. From my perspective, I feel like it kind of ruins like the risk of like the experience of having low HP and like, you know, being under constant pressure. This is my personal opinion. I feel like this feels a little bit strange. That you can basically recover your health by just like letting an enemy kill you at the start of the stage. I mean, maybe later on in the game we're gonna get like maybe currency, or maybe the stages are gonna get increasingly longer, but there's not really a risk factor. Like, you might as well just like restore the player's health each time they switch a stage. And that would be good, by the way. So, if the player, if you want the intention of like the game to have the player basically like, you know, carry risk only in individual stages, that's fine. But you might as well like restore the player's health whenever they switch a stage anyway, because if they can just get killed and restore all their health, this is what they're gonna do once they like learn the game. So you might as well restore all the health at the beginning of each stage. Okay, so I'm guessing I have to go down and then... Okay, never mind. Okay, now I do want to check something out, because... Okay, so if I'm holding onto this wall, and then I go down... Okay, that's fine. There's no collision bugs. What? Oh, wait. Ah, so the animation cancels if you walk out of range. So, if you enter this guy's range and then immediately leave... Yeah, it just cancels the animation. Kind of funny. Okay, there's another one here. There's levers also. Boss fight. No, it just opens the door. Okay. Okay, maybe now we're gonna get some sort of like powers or something. This can't hurt me. Okay. So some sort of, yeah, spider. And what? You just return to the main menu? So I'm guessing this is the end of the demo. The door is still open. If I enter again, what happens? Do I jump? Do I... I'm guessing that this is just like the end of the demo. Okay, let's go back to the main menu, because I do want to see some... Oh, wait. What was that? So when you go back to the main menu from here... Collections. Okay, so this is probably the story fragments, right? So, like, it has concept arts, which is pretty nice. And two that we haven't discovered yet. Okay, settings... Looks fine. Let's go with I'm stuck. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it just restarts the stage. Let's go. Yeah, if you... Okay, so... I'm not sure. Oh, there is gamepad support. We might test it out later with my own gamepad. I want to see if this actually works. But for now, I think I saw this. So if you go back to the main menu, yeah, the sprite of the character just disappears immediately, which looks kind of weird. I'm gonna show it again. So when you like press start and then you press go back to the main menu, like she just like the sprite just completely disappears of the character. Okay, collection looks pretty fine. Credits. You can roll the credits up and down. Now this is kind of weird because if you press the W, it rolls like down, and if you press the S, it rolls up. Now there are many games where like the controls are inverted, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that specifically. For me specifically, just like kind of weird. And then when the credits roll all the way up, it just stops. So like this is probably an incomplete feature. So like when the credits reach all the way, they just stop completely. Now here's the funny thing. If you want the, like, I'm not sure if this is because like the credits were like not finished or anything, but what you can also do, because the credits are incredibly small, like there's not a lot of people. If the people just fit in one screen, you can simply make the credits like a single picture with like maybe a return button or something. Because there's not enough credits to like justify it being rolling credits, if that makes sense. And can I go back? Yeah, I can. I just press escape. Okay, feedback or bug. This might take me to a website, which it did. So we're gonna ignore that for now. Let's go back to the game and see if there's another way that I can take. I'm guessing that this is like where the demo ends. So let's just go back. It became pretty sinister real quick though. Like that creature was really not what I expected. Let's just see if I haven't missed anything major. And do enemies respawn? Because you guys remember there was like an enemy over here when I entered the stage. No, I don't think they respawn. Yeah, so enemies, like, they don't respawn. How far can we take this box? Let's see. And let's see if anything happens if I run into a wall. Nope. Looks fine. I can jump out. A little bit narrow, but there's nothing too restricting. And enemies also don't respawn when you do, like, I mean, it could be just this enemy specifically, so let's check if that's true. Because if enemies don't respawn, and, like, in this sort of genre, this is really bad in my opinion. Because essentially, like, you're gonna have nothing to do once you explore a lot of areas. There's just not gonna be any enemies to, like, have, like, a risk. There's not gonna be a risk of actually, like, returning to previous stages. Okay, so this enemy did get back. Oh, no, I didn't kill him, though. I didn't kill that enemy. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna kill this enemy, and then if this enemy also doesn't respawn, then it means that, like, maybe enemies in this game don't actually respawn, which, in my opinion, is, like, not a very good idea. Oh, that was a pretty weird bug there. Yeah, that enemy is, like, really hard. Oh, I forgot that I can do that. Yeah, my bad. Okay, now let's just die and see what happens. Okay, so I died now. Now, just out of curiosity, let's go back, because if death does make the enemies respawn, this could be a bug. No, and the box is also still here, so like the stages basically are left the same way you left them when you move to another area. So the stages are the same, which means that like if the plant on the other stage doesn't respawn, it means that every stage is like this. I mean, it's safe to assume that every stage is like this. Oh, so the plant here does respawn. Okay, so it's only with the last stage. So the last stage, like, the enemies there just don't respawn. And it's left in the same state as, like, as before. Okay, so I think, yeah, so there's a bug with the final stage. So it doesn't reset the way the others, the way the other stages do. Yeah, that was the guy that nearly killed me earlier. And yeah, all the enemies here did respawn, so it means the bug itself is only in the previous one. Okay, I think we're pretty close to finishing the playtest, because the demo, I believe, is pretty much over. Okay, so I do want to check something else in the new, like, by starting another new game. Oh, and these get back. Now, does it reset the collection when you start a new game? Yeah, it does. So when you... okay, so there's only like one save, basically. I'm not sure how I feel about the entire collections being reset, but I guess it makes sense if there's only like one save file in the game. Okay, I'm just gonna skip all of them, because... okay, now these enemies are definitely annoying because they're very fast. But these guys, you can pretty much just skip them if you want. I do believe there was one area that I didn't check, so I just want to go over that real quick before I finish the playtest. Okay, I'm pretty sure that it's over here somewhere. Let's see if it's here or not. Okay, so this is where I went through earlier. So what happens if I go up there? Yeah, this is a place that I don't believe I've been in. Yeah, this is not something that I found. Oh, that was the thing. So this is basically the same area. That was the rope that I couldn't get to earlier, if you guys remember that. Okay, so this is the one last area. Yeah, I could have dropped and then I would arrive, like, I would have arrived over here. So, yeah, this is the last area. So this is basically all the playtest, I believe. There's like one collection that I didn't get, but I think I've played enough. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the main menu now. And again, the sprite disappears, which looks kind of weird. Okay, so let's just go with my overall impression. So, I didn't find a lot of bugs in the game. There were a few localization bugs and a few UI bugs in terms of like mouse clicking and just like sprites disappearing suddenly. The last stage also had the bug of enemies not respawning in it and like the stage staying the same. So I feel like if there's some sort of like scripting that you made about like how stages should reset, then definitely get that checked on the last stage and all other stages as well, just to make sure. Now, my personal impressions from the game. I think the game itself, I mean, the game is pretty stable for a demo version, and it's obviously still in the playtest stages. However, in terms of the game itself, like in terms of like the fun and mechanics, the game, I'm not really sure like how to describe this. Maybe it's just me, but the game didn't feel very, how do I put this? Very exciting slash has a lot of risks to it. It's very chill, which many people might find very good. For me personally, when I compare it to other Metroidvanias like maybe Hollow Knight and other like games where you have a lot more aspects, like maybe the risk is a lot higher if like you lose all your HP, like maybe you lose like all your currency. I mean, I didn't find any currency in this game, which I'm not sure if there is going to be one or not, because it's still in the early playtesting stages. But if there's not going to be anything in the game that's basically going to be a risk factor for like losing all your health apart from restarting the stage, I think you should definitely add something to it. Because I feel like the game just doesn't feel very exciting, because if you die, it's like, okay, you die, so you just restart the stage, like it's no big deal. And the stages so far haven't been really long or even very difficult, so maybe later on when the game does get like, you know, bigger, then maybe there's gonna be like more difficult stages, maybe there's gonna be new systems, because from my understanding, like, this is not even the alpha version of the game. At least I don't think it is. But either way, I feel like the game itself is just like, I definitely feel like it needs a lot more, it needs some sort of risk, because it doesn't feel like very scary to die. Like, you die, okay, you restart the stage, and guess what, you restart with full health, so sometimes it might be even better to die to restart the stage, like, completely from the beginning, if maybe you've entered the stage with, like, only a half a heart, and then, oh, just die, you get all your HP back. So this is, like, my perspective. But overall, I think the game is, like, the art looks really nice, the overall story, I mean, it's too early for me to judge, because obviously, like, the game isn't very complete. In terms of, like collision bugs or gameplay bugs or level design bugs, I didn't encounter a lot of them. There was specifically the bug with the insect, with the pathfinding, which it didn't look really good. It might not even be a bug, like, it could be just like how the code works, but it definitely felt very strange. There's also obviously the localization bugs, which I did, again, I'm just gonna say them again. Overall, I think the game looks pretty nice. Wasn't as exciting as it could have been, at least from my perspective. But yeah, overall the game looks pretty good. There's not a lot of bugs, and I wish you guys luck in finishing it.